All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 2 of Horror Talk with Nisi and May.
Mhm.
So, as we said last week, we talked about Scream, the iconic horror movie that was written and directed by Wes Craven. 96 was a fun time for a horror movie. So,
Yes, I know. It's bad because we keep saying written by Wes Craven and it was Kevin Williamson. I want to retract that because I'm like,
it was.
poor,
And
poor man.
we will get to him too. We will definitely get to him because he went on to do some other iconic movies as well. So, first impressions, what is your first memory of Scream 2?
That's it's funny because I really don't remember my first memory of Scream 2. I just remember it being my favorite Scream.
I was going to say that. So, I didn't want to say this last time that we did this. But I had actually not seen Scream until I seen Scream 2.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
Scream 2, we went to go see this in the theater. I do not know why my mom and my aunt thought it was a good idea to take us.
Because we're 90s kids and our parents didn't care.
They didn't care. They didn't care. So, obviously, that fucked me up too. But I think that's why I have a little bit of, I guess, a little bit of more, like, I rate Scream 2 better than Scream, the original one. And I think that might be my little edge over it because I actually went to go see it live in the theater. And I want to say that opening scene was just as horrific because it's Jada Pinkett and Omar Epps. Like, I wanted, it wasn't a good look that the black people died in the opening scene. I'm just gonna say that.
But it's supposed to be like the meta universe. So I mean, you got to call out the tropes.
You gotta
Black
call
people
out the
always
trope.
die first.
Yes, they have to die first. And, we see that this theater is chaos. It is nothing but chaos for the first stab movie. So
Yes.
this is the first introduction. And I thought this was so funny that the opening scene of Scream 2, they're watching Stab, the opening scene of Stab, which was the
I
opening
know.
of Scream. So I'm like, a whole mind fuck is going on right now. So
I
I'm like,
always love I always love when they're like watching Stab and it's like shit that didn't happen in the first one, like she's in the shower.
absolutely. Like,
Like,
of course, the audience going crazy. Woo! They going crazy
yeah.
because they think they about to see some titties, and no,
Yeah, like this shit did not happen in the first one. Like
not at all. Because I was like, how did they know what she was doing? Like, she died
right.
alone.
Right.
Yeah. So we are thrust Maureen and Phil. That is their name.
Yes.
We are thrust into the young, cute couple. And I ain't gonna lie, Jada Pinkett, she was my spirit animal. Like, she said everything that, like, was true. Like, she
Yeah. This was
called
Jada
it.
Pinkett at her best in the 90s, being
Absolutely.
the annoying black woman in theater. Like they're in line and she's already like, I don't want to see this. I want to go see Sandra Bullock. I'm not trying to see some
Man,
white people get cut up.
exactly. She was calling it, like, throughout the whole thing. And every time she jumped, I jumped. Like, even now, watching it all these years later, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, get out of there, girl. Get out of there. Get out of there. That's what I kept trying to say.
Right.
She yelling at the screen. I'm yelling at my screen, yelling at her. So it's like, girl, what are you doing? So they get to the movies, they get their seat. It is chaos. People are running around with their masks, fake knives. I just was on edge the whole time watching this. And Phil he just, he think it's all fun and games. And he gets it first. He goes to the bathroom. And I don't know why black people, we are so nosy. Like, I kept asking myself, why did he have to try to listen in this other stall? Like, what are you doing? You don't get in, take the pee, and get out. Like, what are you doing? So R.I.P. Phil. First body count. I meant to take notes too for the body counts. So the first body to drop is Phil in the bathroom.
Yes.
That was, and I feel like they kind of like rushed past that because we didn't have time. We didn't have time to like really grieve because we didn't even know Phil, but Phil had to go. And the killer takes his belongings and goes sit right next to Maureen. And then that was another iconic scene where she got cut the hell up in the movie theaters in front of everybody. Like in front of everybody. And nobody cared. And then she passes out. Like that was I feel like that was even more traumatizing than the first one. Because I'm like, damn, like she really just got cut the hell up in front of everybody. And they just having a good old time. They thinking it's a prop. Like, oh, it's fake.
I just always liked how like she really like got into the movie before she got stabbed. She was like really into it.
She was. She really was. And never, I mean, I don't even think she saw that coming. It's like, damn.
No. And then like he stabs her, she gets up, and then he just like keeps stabbing her on the way up to the damn screen.
Like walking up to him, like, don't nobody see this? I said, see, this is why you gotta follow your first instincts.
This movie definitely like it freaked me out about going to the theaters. Like I literally just said this to Courtney, and he was like, "So are we going to the theaters to see Scream 6?" And I was like, because people are gonna be in there trying to stab me.
Listen, guards is gonna be up, okay? Like, not even gonna play them kind of games. So yeah, that is the traumatizing opening scene for Scream 2. Now we go see what Sydney has been up to. She is in college. It's been 2 years of peace for her. So she seemed to be on her toes. You know, she had caller ID.
She got caller ID now. So
she got caller ID. She's kind of anticipating the kind of shitstorm that's coming her way because the release of the movie, opening weekend. And she seems to be like, whatever, you know, whatever. She's not really paying too much attention to it until them damn news cameras show up because 2 students got gutted the hell up in front of everybody in a full audience, you know? So it's like,
and she's like with her friends as usual. So it's her roommate Hallie.
Yep. Hallie. Okay. First, you know, what was your thoughts about Hallie?
I was like, oh, she's black. That was my first.
Hallie was the blackest. She was the whitest black girl I think I ever met. Because, you know, them trying to join that sorority, I was just like, girl, give it a rest.
Right. When you already know Hallie would have been a damn AKA or a Zeta or a Delta.
Come on now. So, yeah, she definitely.
I always thought it was just funnier they were in Ohio. Like every time they make a movie like this, like they always send them off to Ohio somewhere because, you know, we're just in the middle of fucking nowhere here.
Of course, right? Yeah. So she's off to college. It's been 2 years of peace, seeming to be peace, right? But the media shows up because it's Stab's opening weekend, is based on her life, and these 2 students got killed. So the media shows up, and guess who else shows up? Our favorite bitch. Our favorite
with shorter hair and chunky red streaks.
Yes. Can't
90s perfection.
Can't lie. Her hair was so 90s. So 90s. But she showed up, of course, because where controversy and mess is, you know, Gail ain't too far behind.
Especially when it's based off of her best-selling novel, The Woodsboro Murders.
I'm just saying.
And her movie.
Of course, you know, she had to get that press. And she also has a new cameraman.
Yes, Joel.
And Joel, I don't know why this man did not read her book before taking that job. Like, let's just start there.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. Like he knew nothing about Gale. He was like, "Oh, I just need this job." Like he didn't do no research.
No, he didn't do no research at all. And throughout the course of the movie, it becomes clear that he is in the shit too. He's in there. He is in with her. Like, and it was funny how he was like, "So your last cameraman was what do you say? Like, your last cameraman was he was gutted up."
Gutted.
And she's like, "No, his throat was slashed." Like, bitch, that's not better. That's
So
not
casual. Like, nah, he wasn't gutted. His throat was just slashed. He's fine.
right. His throat was slashed. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. But back to Sydney. So we're following our girl Sydney. She's got her roommate Hallie and a new boo.
Yes, Derek.
New boo was he was I give him a thumbs up. He was a cute white boy.
No, because all I ever see is Joe's apartment, so I can never look at Jerry O'Connell as anything but dirty ass Joe.
Right, dirty
So,
ass Joe. But in this movie, he was cleaned up a little bit, just a little. He was.
I never got the appeal of Jerry O'Connell. He's
I don't know. He's aging too well now, though. He's not aging
right.
Too well. No, he's not aging too well. But back then, he was aight. He was a cute love interest for Sydney. And
yeah, he was delightfully plain, like cooked flour.
Yep, for sure. And guess who else? Our fellow Woodsboro survivor, Randy. Randy. It was funny to see him in his like film class because of course he's gonna go into film. Of course,
Can we talk about like Randy's glow up? Like he was like husky in high school, weird looking, and then he got all like slim with the sideburns.
He did kind of glow up a little bit. He did. I wish he would have had more of a shine in Scream 2.
See, but I think he did though. I think he did.
Yeah, he did.
I think Randy really got like. I mean, he set up the conversation about sequels, right? Because you have he's in class. You got Mickey. Mickey's in there too. Mickey Altieri. And then you've got Sarah Michelle Gellar playing Cece Cooper, and they're talking about sequels and their impact on the franchise and how no sequel is better than the original. And they start talking about The Godfather and Aliens and having that dialogue back and forth between him and Mickey.
Yeah.
And then of course Sydney shows up and he's like, "Yo, got to go." Like, because my future wife is at the door.
Yes. And that was another thing I felt like he was always like, I feel like he could have been a good love interest, but it just wasn't gonna happen.
Well, they had that in the original script. Randy in the original script was Joel, and Joel was Randy's character.
Oh, okay.
So Randy was actually Gail's cameraman in the original script, and him and Sydney were like going out on a date to go see the Stab movie in the original script.
Okay. Yeah, I did hear that. I did a little bit of research on Scream 2, and they did say that plot, that whole script was rewritten.
Yeah, because it got leaked.
Yep, it got leaked. So they had to rewrite it sometimes like even the same day, like that they were to shoot. So I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's when they started doing like you don't know who the killer is until they hand you your pages, because the original script, even though like nowadays Kevin Williamson like denies the script that got leaked was a dummy script, I don't believe it was.
Yeah.
Just based off of like the facts of who the killers were supposed to be and Randy's character and whatnot. But yeah, since they had to like redo everything, we got the different killers and like the different storylines. So Randy got to just stay Sydney's best friend.
Yep. Were you surprised throughout the movie? Were you guessing throughout the movie who was the killer?
Yes. And I knew one of them, but that second one is probably one of the best killer twist reveals that we've gotten through the whole franchise. For me, that's why it's my favorite. Because they always give like the one killer all the praise and the other one's like, oh, well, they weren't that good. And I think like the second killer was one of the best killers.
I was thoroughly surprised, and it
especially with who's playing it.
It made sense. It made total sense. Now the first killer, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we basically got the whole crew back together because guess who else shows up?
Deputy Dewey with the arm.
That arm was killing me the whole damn movie. That damn arm, him and that limp in that arm. I'm like,
yes,
why are you here? That's the one thing I kept saying to him, like, why are you here? Like, that fool almost took you out.
Because that's like baby sister right there. Like, he was gonna come see if Sydney was okay.
He got on the first flight. Okay.
I low-key feel like he wanted to come so he could check Gail.
Yeah.
Like, because the way he checked her in this movie, but even still, like, Gail was still up to her bullshit shenanigans, because the fact that she ambushed Sydney and brought Cotton
with motherfucking Cotton, I was thoroughly like, the audacity of this bitch. Not only do you ambush and you bring Cotton, and then she's like turning the knife like you wrongfully accused him. Like, what kind of movie is this?
I always feel so bad for Cotton in these movies, because all this man did was get some. Like, his whole life.
He literally did not do it. Like, it was
nothing. And Sydney treats him like he is like the scum between her toes.
Yep. And
he's like, what did I do to you? You sent me to jail.
Wrongfully. Okay. Wrongfully.
And he, like, because you would think, like, you know, he could have choked Sydney out and he was still trying to be nice. Like, hey, how you doing? And she's like,
exactly.
She's like, Sydney, girl, like, you should feel bad. Like,
yeah. But the audacity of that Gail, I was like, see, that's why she still be getting slapped. This is why you keep getting slapped, lady. Because you were out of pocket. I was like, Gail was really out of pocket for that. Like,
yeah, this was Gail at her, like, the first movie was her bitchiest. This was Gail, like, chasing her bag. Like,
man, and I mean, clout chasing. If there was clout chasing back then,
it would be Gail Weathers.
It would be Gail goddamn Weathers, because she was on the case, okay? And you see how at the little press run, she's the main one. She took over. She asking the questions that need to be asked for real.
Yes. And then at the little press junket, we get introduced to Debbie motherfucking Salt.
Debbie Salt. She rubbed me the wrong way instantly.
I love Debbie, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because when that bitch was sitting there at the press conference and she was just like, all I'm saying is, if the murders are related to Woodsboro, that maybe the killer is from Woodsboro. And she's like, what? Just saying. And then just like walks off.
She was there. Like, the fact that she was just there, she kept pulling up on Gail. Like,
she's like, yeah, I was at your seminar with my hand up in the front row asking all the questions. Like, she was so funny to me. And the fact that it's Jackie from Roseanne.
Exactly.
And Jackie is like one of my like top 5 favorite like TV people. Yeah. So when I was a kid, I was like, oh my God, it's Jackie. So I was excited. I love Laurie Metcalf.
Yes.
She is a phenomenally underrated actress.
Absolutely. And she did her thing in this role.
Oh, absolutely.
She wasn't even like a main character, but she still played a pivotal role in how the story was told, how the story played out. So
she was up in there.
She was up in there. And when I refreshed to watch this movie again, I had to remember, like, wait a minute, who is the killer again? So I was going through all the motions all over again, watching this movie years later. Like, I can't remember who really did it. Like, who is it again?
But yes, so then we're so after we meet all of our characters who are all like walking from different directions, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I love when we get to the party because, like, the sorority girls run up on Hallie and Sydney. They want Sydney in this sorority because they're clout chasing. Absolutely. Derek's already a big brother. Already a big brother to the sorority, so they want Sydney. And it cracks me up that it's Rebecca Gayheart. Yes. Is one of the sorority sisters who's like a big 90s name, like the Noxzema girl.
Yes, she was always like. When I was rewatching this movie again, I had to really think, like, wait, ain't she the killer? But I was thinking, no, bitch, you
Wrong
thinking of the
movie.
wrong movie. Wrong
Wrong
movie.
movie.
Wrong movie.
But
I just don't like her.
the other sorority girl is
Yeah.
Ellen DeGeneres' wife.
Yes, I did look into that too. I was
So
like,
that's hilarious.
hilarious. So yeah, hey, are you gonna come to our party tonight? The sorority girls. And Sydney is just like, no,
Bitch, I don't
like,
want to do this, but I'll do it for you, Hallie.
Right. Hallie is just so,
Thirsty.
Because I think Hallie was low key, like she wanted kind of the clout too. Her just being with Sydney, attached to Sydney. She had a name for her that gave her a little bit of name for herself too.
Yeah. See, I don't think that Hallie was a bad friend.
Nope.
I don't think that she was clout chasing necessarily. I think that she does what most girls do at that age, where it's like, I just want to join a sorority so I can belong.
Yep, absolutely. I definitely got that vibe from her. She wanted to belong to something very,
because she, just like Tatum, was like right there every time something went down. She always wanted to make sure Sydney was okay. But they're all going to the party. Mickey's there with his video camera.
Oh yeah. Mickey.
Hallie's at the party. Derek's there. Sydney there. Randy's there. And so is Matthew Lillard in the background of the scene.
Exactly.
Which is hilarious that he's a damn extra in the scene.
Hilarious. So
and we get our first phone call.
That first phone call. That first damn phone call.
I never understood like what I feel like you can tell they just wanted Sarah Michelle Gellar in this movie because the whole character of Cece made no sense. I don't understand unless there's some shit on the cutting floor. It was such a throwaway situation.
Yeah. I didn't quite get that either. And I was thinking like, Cece, girl, she's not that bright because the scene where she got the call is clearly freaking her out.
Yeah, because she's on what is it, like sober duty for the sisters at the house or whatever. So she's stuck in the house by herself.
Yep.
Because she has to make sure she's there in case somebody needs a ride or something.
Her first mistake, where she fucked up first, is leaving that damn door open. Like, why would you go outside? And then she was like about to call security campus, but the phone magically just started messing up and then started working again.
Didn't one of her sisters come back for a second?
Yep. And while the door was open, killer smooth right on in there. So I was like,
yes.
And can I say the killer in this movie was clumsy as hell too. I was rolling so hard at how many times this killer fell, tripped, rolled on something. Like the girl she instead of running, like she put the security code on.
Yeah.
But she still could have left the house. Like you run up the stairs, you're going further in the house. But she seemed to be putting up a little bit of a fight. Until
for all of the 90 pounds that she was, she did okay.
She tried, but it just was not enough. And that's body number 3. R.I.P. Cece.
Though I do enjoy seeing her like fly off the balcony like Jazz from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah. Like that was such a long fall too. I was like, damn.
Like I just always wanted somebody to dub over the when you see her like fly.
Right. She's in the air just flying. Like, girl. So, yep. R.I.P. Cece. We got her gone. And that does not help at all with the frenzy of the
what is people's obsessions about going to see a dead body? It's like Boys in the Hood all over again. They all just like run from the party.
Yep. Let's go. Come on, guys. I was like, do they realize they're going to see somebody dead?
Yeah, it's a murder scene. Like, I don't think you're supposed to go run towards it.
Exactly. And that whole scene was crazy too, because they all run back to the house.
Yeah, and Gail shows up.
Gail shows up as she does.
And Debbie Salt is there talking about I have to go turn in my story.
Just saying.
And
Debbie Salt
flips out the scene.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, they are there, doing, their mourning. A little bit of Cece being gone.
Sydney's looking for her damn coat as usual.
Sydney always finds a way to get separated. And,
Like, and you would think at this juncture, it's like still fresh. She should be like, hey, I should be in a group. Like,
and the door magically closes too,
yeah. And this is what I never got. And I would like to know who wrote this part of the story.
Yeah.
If I'm at a party, I'm not picking up the phone at someone else's house. Why did she answer the phone?
She was almost out the house. Like she was almost leaving and the phone rang and she just had to know. She just had to answer it. And I'm like, have you not learned anything?
You don't live there, bitch. Like, why are you answering the phone?
You're not even in the sorority yet. Like, why are you even still there hanging around? Why is the police not doing their job of securing the scene? Because I mean, it's fresh.
Yeah, like because like Cece got killed like 5 or 6 houses down or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and I know Derek was on the porch or outside or whatever waiting on her, but like, why are you answering somebody else's phone? Never understood that.
Mm-hmm. How did they know that she was gonna answer it though? Too
right? Okay, so you get me. So then she gets on the phone and they're like, "Hello, Sydney, remember me?" And I'm like, "Oh, here we go with this shit."
Yep. She pulled right back. She's pulled right back in there. So she thought she was safe. She thought above it, whatever. Now she's pulled right back into it.
And this is probably one of my favorite Ghostface scenes, just for them falling over the chair.
Yes.
The way they topple over that fucking chair is just hilarious and shit to me.
Like, dude could not stand up. Like, what the heck? Like,
yeah, so of course we get Sydney running through the house, and Derek is on the other side of the door because he can't get the door open apparently, and the ghost face like stabs through the door and scares the shit out of him.
Mm-hmm.
This ghost face loves stabbing through walls apparently.
Yeah. I still don't know how he was able to stab through that bathroom stall though. I'm still like fucked up about that.
I'm still okay. Yeah, just to back that up, I understand like when you hear stuff like in a restroom or whatever, and in the stall he says, "Billy, don't tell mommy." Okay, whatever. That's what he heard.
Mm-hmm.
But no part of my nosy black womanness would like put my ear up like to hear anything.
If anything, I would look under and look at the.
And then like how did he know exactly like where his head was?
Exactly. It was just too connected. And I mean, I know they have to dramatize things and make things be, but I was just like,
and my thing is, okay, so Ghostface like in the theater with them clearly, right? So like, did he like set up shop to like watch him get up and then like follow him into the bathroom and then like wait for the guy in the stall who was taking a shit to come out so he can go and rush in right to the one next to him? Like, how does that work in continuity wise? Because like that's a lot of people in the theater.
Yeah. And how did he
to
know
line up exactly when you were in the bathroom?
Yeah. And then he would have had to like follow them in that crowded chaos theater to know exactly where to sit right next back to Maureen. Like I didn't.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like it's just a lot of conveniences.
Yeah. Like you had to
like story wise, it isn't the best screen, but like sequence wise, it's my favorite just because I love the kills.
Oh yeah, for sure. The kills were A-okay. Yeah. So yeah, we let's fast forward back. So now we back in the house. Derek is, he on the other side.
Yeah. Yep.
All of a sudden he's slashed.
Yes, his arm.
His arm is slashed, but it misses all the major arteries and all that shit. Yep. Like Randy was dropping gems too. Because he said that.
He shows up to save Sydney again. Derek's all fucked up and they're at the hospital, and good old Mickey dropping them gems about, well, how well do you know anybody?
Exactly.
All up in Sydney's ear.
Exactly. All up in her ear. So you don't know. You don't know.
You don't know this nigga like that.
You don't even really know him like that. Like, come on. Dropping gems in the whole time, So, we get.
And we got one of my favorite scenes is Randy and Dewey eating ice cream.
Yeah. because I wanted that scene a little bit more
I did
expensive.
too. It was a really good scene. Their banter back
They
and
was
forth.
having a good conversation. Like they were having such a good conversation, and I feel like he was just about to really drop something big, but then they got interrupted.
I love that Dewey went to Randy to find out about the suspects list because he knows Randy knows.
Of course, because Randy knows this shit. He knows his shit about movies, sequels, and kills. Like he knows horror. He does. He knows it.
I love how he dropped in that little nugget about Mrs. Voorhees, because when you look at it again, it's like he was he was already foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing at its best, baby. Okay, I was like,
okay. And he's like, Mickey, the freaky Tarantino film student. I love everything he says. And then they have that whole, well, if I'm a suspect, well, then you're a suspect. And if I'm a suspect, then you're a suspect. And Dewey's like, good. Moving on. Like, I love
it. Drop it. Yep, let's drop it. Like, so that happened. I love listening.
I just love that they both are like, okay, I trust you. I trust you.
Yep.
We know we're not the killer. So what are we dealing with? Like with them two, they had no doubts.
Yeah, I didn't even entertain that when they were like,
they both had no doubts about each other. They knew they could trust each other.
Yeah, because I'm like, it's no way it's gonna be Randy, and there's no way it's gonna be Dewey. Like
and that's the thing that we didn't get in the first one was Randy and Dewey having a scene together. And I wish we would have had more of Randy and Dewey together because they were really good together.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I wish, like, I'm not mad that Randy had to go this movie, but I wanted his kill to be a little bit later in the film, if not like almost last. You know what I'm saying? Because he still had so many more gems to drop, just like he made it to almost the last in the last ones. You know,
I feel like the Randy kill is so iconic because it wasn't meant for him. The phone call was for Gail, and Gail handed him the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So Randy was never on the hit list. If you really think about it, Randy was never supposed to die because the killer was going after the people, like, you know, who were responsible for the first one. So that was Gail and Sydney.
Yep. He was just a bystander.
But he went out like with his nuts swinging because the way he went off on that is probably the most epic, filthy read of horror movie all time. He's like, Billy Loomis, that fucking mama's boy. And he just starts going in.
Oh my gosh. He went in on Billy. He went in on Stu. Like, I was like, God damn.
Like, he read Billy's ass down to the earth. And that was like clue number like 3 that it was someone connected to him, because the way they did Randy was so merciless because of the shit he was talking.
Yep.
But he was talking that shit though, man. He said it.
Yes, and that's why I'm like, oh, if we just had like one more scene with Randy, one more scene with Randy, because he had more to give us. But I understand it caught us, and I feel like that's why they did it. It caught us all off guard.
Yeah, and then seeing Gail and Rand and Dewey like running all around trying to find out who has. They're just snatching cell phones from people,
just random people.
Like, hey.
And they're getting cold, like you're getting colder. You're not warm at all. Y'all are so far away that Randy was able to be snatched up in the damn van.
Yeah. And the way it was shot, like you never see the van in his POV. So like you never see it coming. And it was the first one that we got in broad daylight.
Yes. Like that was bold.
In front of a shit ton of people, like in front of the whole campus.
Yep. And the only reason why, and then those people came by, you know, playing the music, they kicking it and everything, and Randy is getting fucked.
And the truck is just like the truck is just rumbling side to side.
Right. They don't care. They is kicking it outside of that van. I was like, oh, come on.
But when they open that news van and like Gail lets out that scream, and then Joel just like passes out.
Mm-hmm. Joel was going through it.
He was done. He was so done.
He was going through
it. I love Dwayne Martin, and it made me love Wes Craven even more when Dwayne Martin tells the story where he was like, yeah, I was like, hey, why can't Joel just leave? And he's like, well, how would Joel leave? And he's like, Joel's black. Joel's not sticking around for this. And he said Wes was like, okay, well, how would you leave the movie then? And he was like, a taxi. And he said Wes was just like, I love it. Put it in. Put it in.
Put it in. Get it up. Get like that. He's on to something.
Yep.
And
I love Wes Craven for that shit. So he calls a taxi and Joel was like, deuces, I didn't sign up for this shit.
no, absolutely not. And I mean, that saved his black ass. That definitely saved his black ass. Cause
First person in like movie history is just like, bye. Like, I'm out of here.
bye. And I was like, smart move, man. Smart move. That's a smart man right there. White bodies is dropping. White and black bodies.
And then Gail has her come to Jesus moment of, I don't care about the money. I just want to get this fucker. I feel like Randy was a little too close for her.
Yeah. Because it could have been her. It literally could. It should. I think she felt like she knows.
Yeah, because they called her and she handed him the phone.
Yep. So she kind of felt responsible. She was, because she directly handed him the phone.
Now, how do you feel about how they handled Sydney and Randy's death? Because I feel like personally we didn't get enough of a grieving period for Sydney for Randy. They just kind of kept moving along. Like they didn't really show her.
Nope, they didn't even really talk about it. I was like, well, damn, we just gonna move on from Randy. Like he was a iconic character.
Yeah, I'm sure he meant more to Sydney than what they did in the movie.
Yeah, because I mean, he let's just keep it real. Randy always had googly eyes for Sydney. He
even said in the class where he was like, if I was writing my movie, the nerd would get the girl.
The nerd would get the girl. Yes. Like he wanted. That's why I was like, man, they glossed. They sped.
Yeah, because he was trying to like keep her positive. Because when she showed up to the class and was like, it's happening again, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like he was trying to just like move on from it and keep her from thinking about it.
Right. Yep. So it's like, R.I.P. Randy. R.I.P. Randy.
So then we got Sydney on like 24-hour surveillance from her friends and the police. Like now everybody's on high alert, and she's doing her stage play, which I love how they have that scene with her and David Warner, her professor.
Yes.
David Warner's another iconic horror movie actor.
Yes.
So when he's telling her like he doesn't believe her pain. And that she needs to channel what she's going through into that play, and then we get to her doing the monologue of the Greek tragedy.
I thought that was creepy too. I thought that was a little bit of foreshadowing a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
That was a little bit of foreshadowing because she had the the feeling of like, I should not do this. And
I mean, if you're doing a play, and I forget what the play was, but it's about a woman that is losing her grip on reality. So it was great foreshadowing, but just the fact that like you telling me none of you motherfuckers on stage saw somebody in a different costume. Nobody saw this motherfucker with a completely different mask on.
And then they slipped out so smooth. Like, come the hell on. Like the director, he was watching it the whole time. Like,
maybe I'm just a little too observant, but I'd be like, bitch, what costume is this? I'd be on stage like, that is not. I'd be on the stage like, this is not the right mask. You know this, right?
Nope.
My perfectionist ass would have been like, they ain't got the right mask on.
I'd be like, who's that? Who is that? Who that is right there? Like, nah, get them off the stage. Nah, we supposed to have 10. It's 11. Where like,
where does extra motherfucker come from?
Simple shit like that. And then after
completely freaked out.
Yeah, she's completely freaked out. And then she breaks up with Derek for the second time because he tried to do that singing shit. She tried to break up with him the first time.
I was trying to gloss over that historical fail in horror history, but yes, we can talk about him singing that fucking song.
It was so bad. It was so bad that it was like,
well, he didn't want. First of all, it was supposed to have been Mickey singing it to Hallie, because in the original script, Hallie and Mickey were a couple, and that was supposed to be Mickey. But then they changed it, and Jerry O'Connell really didn't want to do it, which I understand because it just didn't fit. It made no sense in the context of this movie.
It didn't help move the plot along. It didn't do anything. It was just filler. It really was just filler. like, okay, we just
they could have just had a very heartfelt conversation, and he could have gave her the letters. I mean, I get that the whole setting up the giving of the letters thing for later.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the whole, like, I'm sorry, I've been dating a long time, and I don't know, is it a college thing? But I don't know any men that have ever jumped up on a table in front of a bunch of people and broke out into random song.
I just
Or is that like just the white woman experience that we never will know?
it's a white woman experience because I was just like, I was not moved by it. I was so unmoved by that.
Like
I
we
was
may,
just
like, I know I may have got a mixtape or two back in the day, but I ain't never had nobody jump up on the cafeteria table.
I'm like, keep it on the low. Why would you bring all that attention to me? Like, why would you
I'm
do
saying,
that?
like, I ain't never had a nigga jump on a table and start singing Drew Hill to me or nothing.
I'm just saying. What is happening here? We are turning this movie, and that's where this movie has some like it has some. It's fun. It's funny. It's they tried to add different elements. I think they were testing that out. Like just
You can tell this movie had some rewrites. That's what it is. It wasn't
sure.
you can tell it wasn't the complete vision, but it was. I mean,
yeah.
But yeah, we get to that whole thing, and she does break up with Derek because she's like, "Hey, everybody's starting to die around me. I don't want to lose you too. This is not safe for you." And then she goes, "Where's Mickey?" And he's like, "Well, Mickey had to do some editing for his class, so I'm here." So now it's like, this is suspicious. Who can you trust? Like, who's supposed to be here? Who's not? Who's telling the truth?
Exactly.
And you know what other scene I really like, I love, but I hate because it makes me so tense.
What?
Is when she's in the library and Cotton runs up on her.
Yes.
It's so like nerve inducing because deep down I'm like, I know you're a good guy, but you're coming off so menacing, which I get his point. Yo, I just did 3 years in jail. I'm broke. I need my just due, and you need to help me because you sent me there.
Exactly. He wasn't wrong. He wasn't completely wrong.
I get the desperation, and I feel like Liev Schreiber like played it so well. Like I get the desperation, but I just hate they wrote Sydney like this little, like, she was very much a bitch in this movie in the wrong ways. Like Cotton did nothing to you.
He didn't do anything but just be there. Like he just showed up, and I feel like that rubbed her the wrong way with him even showing up. Like
how are you gonna be mad at this man for just trying to get his life back on track? Something that was taken from him, his innocence.
When you literally were told by the killer who killed your mama, like Billy Loomis literally told you, like, yeah, we did that shit. Like,
yeah, I don't know if it was embarrassment, but like they could have made her like a little bit more apologetic, I guess.
Yeah,
to me. Absolutely. But yeah, that was a very tense scene because he just like had her by the arm and he's like, "Look, okay, yeah. I need this Diane Sawyer interview."
He really, and I mean, I wasn't mad at him. He was,
and they arrested his ass.
Yeah, like he wasn't really on my radar either. As far as like he's the killer. Nah, I was just like, okay, this dude really is like, I can X him out. He's not the killer. He's not trying to be on all that. Like he's literally just trying to get his life back in order and trying to make.
And they arrest poor Cotton.
Yep.
And she goes and sits back down, and she gets that instant messenger. So it's like, you got the wrong guy, dumbass.
Yep.
And she like jumps from the computer. Oh.
Yep.
Like the computer isn't gonna hurt you, Sydney, but all right.
Like, girl, just calm down, relax. I mean, they see you, they know what you're doing, but this the 90s. Everybody, they show when you online. America Online shows everybody when you there in the chat room.
Yeah. So they're gonna put her in like witness protection or some shit like that, and Derek sees her off, and Hallie's like, "I'm going too. Because I'm the sassy black friend, and you ain't leaving without me."
Why didn't Hallie get some type of protection too? She's directly next to Sydney.
Don't care about her.
Yeah, I would have been trying to get away from Sydney too. I'm just saying.
I feel like for real, the whole reason why Hallie went, because she was like, I need to be protected, so I'm going with the police and the white woman that's gonna live.
Yeah, she thought. But she
thought. And Derek sees him off, and we see these people kidnap Derek.
Yep. I was like, oh shit. Oh damn.
It's his fraternity and his sorority sisters, because he gave away his letters, and that is a fraternity no.
Ooh, yeah, they got a lot of rules. He know the rules. Like, you have to follow the rules. You can't just be giving your letters up for anybody. Like, no, that is a big no.
Yes, and
Gail
I love when we cut to Gail and Dewey like searching
mm-hmm.
the film class or whatever, and they're making out,
Ooh, yes.
and you're like, yes,
Yeah, I was like, 'cause I was always wondering because I had to watch this movie all over again, and I was wondering how did we get to the point where Gail and Dewey got together? Because they seemed like
I
total.
promise you, if Dewey hadn't cussed Gail out about that book, because that's what got her interested, because he went off on her.
Yeah, and she
Every
saw him
time
like
Dewey goes
different.
off on, every time, excuse me, Dewey goes off on her, she's like,
Turned on. She's turned on by that because nobody steps to Gail like that and checks her.
no,
Gail is the typical woman, white woman who goes through her life not checked by a single person.
yeah. He totally was like checking her ass left and right.
Totally.
Like I said, when he was like, you called me naive and the way you wrote about me in your book, and he was not hearing it. She was, I'm sorry. And he wasn't trying to hear none of that shit.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
And he was like, how do you know that this is not my way of, having people give him, a false sense of security, blah, blah, blah. And she looked real stupid.
Exactly. Because how do you know? Because Dewey gave that false sense of security. He did, like
Yeah.
he said it. He said it himself, and it made you look at him like, damn.
I love how this movie, she spent the whole movie chasing after him and he didn't want to be bothered. Pretty much every movie, he doesn't want to be bothered.
Right. He was like really not trying to hear it. Like he really was just focused on Sid. Like that
Yeah,
was
and
always
then
his thing of trying to make sure they catch the guy. Who the hell is it? Like, because
yeah, and
they're
they start getting all steamy,
mm-hmm.
and that TV pops on behind him, and someone is filming them.
Mm-hmm. Mm. And here goes the stress.
Now the stress like, is up. And he's got the hand right here, and she's like,
"Yep." Where they at? And you see the person like scurry by
the projector.
Yep. Yep.
And Dewey runs his happy ass up there.
Yep.
And he's like, there's nobody up here. And they just jump out from behind the table.
Oh, Dewey. I was like, Dewey.
They jump out from behind Gail and they chase her around that table, and she like slides across the table.
Yes. I was like, oh, what is going on?
Gail's ass was gone. Do you hear me?
She was gone.
Gone.
Like out of there.
And definitely one of the best chase scenes out of the whole franchise is Gail through the film studio.
Yeah. Because it made you really see like, damn, this is actually a big like studio here. Like this is like for real.
Yeah, so, going through the college studio, and she's like they're chasing Gail, and then you get to that Dewey and Gail in the soundproof room.
Oh, that was so hard to watch. That was so hard to watch because I'm yelling at the TV. I'm literally yelling at the TV like, no, turn around, Gail, turn around. And then
she sees Dewey just getting and just the blood all down, and he just slide. They both just slide down the glass together.
Yeah, I thought Dewey was gone for it because the blood started coming out his mouth, and I'm like,
yep.
Yeah, he's done. He's done for. He might be done for this movie for real.
Yeah.
But she's just watching.
And they try to get in to where Gail is, and they can't.
Yep.
And then they go away, and then Gail runs outside, and who's outside by the phone? Debbie Salt. I'm trying to tell you her timing. That was foreshadowing as well. I love how Gail was just like cussing her dumb ass out. Like, this is not the time.
This is not the time, bitch. What is wrong with you? Nobody's antennas went off that this bitch
like, what are you doing here?
What are you doing? How did you get here? Who let you in? Why are you here? Like, they wasn't asking the right questions for me, because I'm just like, this is the bitch. Like, get her out of here. What is going on?
And we see that Derek is on stage, strung up by his fraternity brothers, and they're writing all over him and pouring beer on him and doing that white boy shit. So we see what happened to Derek. He's fine. And then we get to Hallie and Sydney in the back of a cop car. Another one of the most tense scenes of this movie.
Made me mad. Not even gonna lie. This scene made me so mad. It made me so mad because Sydney she's just not smart in situations like this. She's just not smart, man. Like how you got two police officers that's supposed to be your like these are your bodyguards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Magically, some way they get taken out. Whatever.
Yeah, the
Now
one
this
got killed, and then
one got
they crashed the car, and the
yep,
pole goes, which is gnarly as hell. Like the
yeah,
way that pole just goes through his
yep,
head,
yep. So now they're
and
trapped. Now they're in another like this could be your tomb right here. This car.
yep, and Ghostface is knocked out in the car with them because he got in the car,
Yep.
and he's knocked out too, and they have to climb through the partition and over Ghostface to get
Ooh,
out.
ooh, that
And
was
the way she looks at him,
mm-hmm.
like she just wants to stab him right there, which I in my brain I'm like, bitch, you could have punched him, stabbed him, kicked in the balls, anything. He was knocked out for the taking. You could have did anything at that moment. Choked him from behind, anything.
Anything. Like
It was two of y'all.
two of them, two against one. Well, so we thought. Two against one. So
At that time it was 2 against 1. Y'all both in the car. Somebody could have like y'all could have did anything.
man,
Or at the
anything.
very least took the mask off. But no, y'all get out the car and then you want to go back.
She's like, I just gotta know, bitch. What? You you really had the chance,
and it
then
pissed
you
me
want to
off
go back
because Hallie's on the street. Bitch, you're safe. You're not going back because you're smart. We're not going back.
Nope.
So where the fuck did this teleporting Ghostface come from? How
Yep.
did he get out the car and around the back of them? I will never understand the continuity, but I love it because it definitely surprised me that Hallie got taken out.
Surprised, and that would have been a good time. We know at this point we know Sydney can fight. Okay, she done fought Ghostface time after time after time, but she just stood there and watched Hallie get sliced the fuck up. I was so mad about that.
And this is where I said before where this could have been Tatum, because then that would have been more meaningful if Tatum got through both of these movies. They got out the cop car and then Tatum got killed like that. Now that would have been more meaningful.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
I agree.
quite frankly, Hallie didn't have much character development. I never felt attached to Hallie.
Nope.
As a character.
She was
pretty
filler.
throwaway.
She was definitely a throwaway character. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Like their friendship never. I will say that about Scream 2 is the relationships weren't as strong. They didn't seem like she had real friends. Her boyfriend didn't seem like her real boyfriend again. Like it just
yeah. But nonetheless, I felt like Sydney could have did more because she just like just stood there and watched her friend get stabbed the hell up. I'm like, girl, why didn't you fight him? Fight, stand up.
And then she runs, and for the life of me, why would you run to the theater? You could have been campus security. You could have ran a million other places, but you ran to the theater. Also, don't understand that convenient plot hole of how they knew she was gonna be there.
How did they know?
She didn't know Derek was there.
Nope.
Nobody knew Derek was there.
Nope.
Right? And like, how would y'all know that's the first place that she run for the final showdown?
Exactly. Sydney just wasn't smart. She wasn't smart in that moment. I was just like, come the hell on, Sydney.
But probably one of the best outside the first, which I mean, the first exists in its own universe. So when I say like my favorite or best, the first doesn't even compare. So I don't even like, I'm talking about all the other ones.
It's in its own lane doing its thing.
But the best like showdown scene for me is 2.
Yeah. And it made more sense.
Yeah.
Once things started playing out, it made a lot of sense because I ain't gonna lie. I was questioning up until that last moment of like, I wasn't ruling Derek out. I kind of sort of wasn't ruling him out because I'm just like, he seems to be showing up at the right time. He's missing at the right time. And, you know, as the bodies are starting to drop, we like, okay, it might be him. It's clearly 2 killers. We know, like, we know how Scream get down. It's gonna be 2 killers.
Yeah, but then you know, Ghostface shows up. Derek comes down,
Yep.
still tied up and knocked out, and they take the voice changer out, they pull the mask off, and it's Mickey, which I always knew it was Mickey.
Yeah.
I always thought it was Mickey and Derek because they both disappeared most of the movie.
They did. They was always
Right.
missing in action. Always
Yeah.
missing in action, just a little bit too much for me. And Mickey also seemed a little bit weird.
He was off.
Like he was off. He reminded me, he gave me the comparison of Stu. Just somebody who was just off. This nigga
Yeah.
is clearly off.
Especially when you got to the part where, you know, Gail and Dewey are in the film class and they start showing videos of all the murders. So you saw him in the car when Jada and Omar Epps were in line. You saw him watching Cece.
Yep.
You saw like all the kills pretty much from a camera POV. Okay, well, it's Mickey because he's the only person that had a camera the whole time.
Yep. He's a film student. So that, I mean, that it made sense like that.
Yeah, and he's the one that set Derek up, you know, with the brothers, because he was there in the crowd when they took him off. So I always knew it was Mickey. I just didn't know who the second killer was. Thought it was Derek until
even up to like the last minute when he was saying, like, when he was kind of pleading to Sydney, like,
yeah, he's like, how do you know he's not my partner?
Right. I still was like, I still don't know. Like, I still don't know. He could be lying because that's what you say when you tied up and you want to get down. But, you know,
I mean, her last boyfriend faked his own death. So yeah, absolutely. I would be like, and she like slowly backs away from him.
Always got beat up. The serious one never got beat up. If you ever know, if you actually pay attention to it, the goofy one always got scraped up, always got hit with something. Just both of them, Scream 1 and Scream 2. Go back and pay attention. The goofy one always got scuffled.
That's noted. That's noted. That's noted.
If you go back and watch Scream 1 and Scream 2, who was the Scream 1? Who was the boyfriend
and Stu, yeah.
Stu always got his ass whooped.
Yeah. I'm gonna put a pin in that. We're gonna circle back around to it. Yeah. So yeah. So Mickey's crazy ass shot up Derek.
And not even, I mean, he shot him point blank in the heart, one bullet out, we're done, head down.
Done.
It's a wrap.
Done. He's done.
That nigga wasted one. He said, I'm not wasting one bullet. Like,
oh no, because he's actually kind of smart. Even though he's crazy as fuck, he actually was a little bit more calculated than I originally thought. Because I'm just like, I knew he was weird, but not like killer weird.
Well, I mean, he said, he's like, I want to get caught.
That's what he said.
Yeah, he said, I want to get caught, and I'm going to blame it on the movies, and I'm going to get off.
Ooh. And back in the 90s, he might have actually got off. That's the crazy part.
Spoiler alert, you see the door open, and I promise you, when I saw Gail walk through, I was like, no, not Gail.
Not Gail, yeah. Not Gail, because I was like, bitch, what? Oh, right. She really deserved to get smacked. She really deserved.
Like, you really on that fuck shit.
You really is. And it would have made sense because she created all of it, and it's gonna be her. It's gonna make.
And it's crazy because even Sydney was like, Gail, and Gail was like, she did that little head nod. And you see Debbie motherfucking OG Salt walk up in the building with the trench on and the damn 9 in her hand.
Yep. And Sydney made the instant connection.
She was like,
Mrs. Loomis?
Mrs. Loomis?
And then
Mickey, like, Billy's fucking mother.
Billy's mom. Because she did leave his dad. She left his dad. I feel like that's why nobody knew what she looked like. And then she had surgery and all that shit.
Yeah, she had plastic surgery and liposuction.
Lipo, yep. So she was totally different. And that was her motivation. You killed my baby.
Yeah, and you know, she's like, yeah, I found Mickey on this psychopathic chat room, and I paid for him to come here. Like, she paid this man's tuition, I guess, that she was saving for Billy to come and get and sit. Like, she had the plan for like 2 years. She went through this.
Yeah, dedication. Her dedication was in it.
Right, and Gail gets shot in the stomach, of course.
Yep.
And she took Mickey out. She said, I don't need you. Pow. Done.
Yeah, you played your role.
You did your part, son.
Your part.
Peace.
We don't need you no more. You're out of here.
And I love when she's like, well, my motivation isn't as good as Mickey's, blame it on the movies, but mine is just good old fashioned revenge.
I mean, revenge is a dish that's best served cold. So I mean,
Hey, I have always been the person that's been like, I understood Jason's mom in Friday the 13th. I get it.
I totally get it. Like, on some real shit, I totally get Jason's mom. Like, y'all killed my baby, so now I got to kill you. Like, I mean, I'm not mad at that.
Now, Mrs. Loomis a little more deluded because your baby killed a bunch of people.
We gonna fast forward past that, right? We're gonna pass.
Like there's a cutoff to a mother's love, and I think she crossed it.
But eventually, she really also blamed it on Sydney's mom.
Yeah.
Sydney's mom slept with Billy's dad.
Broke up her family.
Ruined her family, broke them up. So not only did Billy blame her mom, the mama blamed her mom too.
But it's crazy when you really think and look, like Mickey killed everybody except for Randy, right?
Yep.
Because she said herself, well, he was talking about my son and I got a little knife happy. So the fact that the call was meant for Gail, she really only wanted Gail and Sydney dead. Everybody else was just Mickey's crazy ass.
That was Mickey's idea. Yep. That was his.
She wanted 2 people dead.
That's it.
And Randy was, like I said, Randy was an accident that got the best of her. She was like, you saw what happened to Randy. Like, don't talk about my baby like that.
Don't talk about him, even though he was a piece of shit. But don't talk about my baby.
So talk about my baby like that.
Don't talk about my baby like
So
that.
she only wanted to kill 2 people. I mean, that's not bad, you know. And that's why everybody always says like Debbie's like Debbie is one of the worst killers. And I'm just because she didn't really kill anybody. And I'm just like, yo, like that reveal was so left field, but not really. If you know your horror movies, it's not really out of left field. Except with the whole Mrs. Voorhees thing.
Yep.
But
the
fact that it was Aunt Jackie and she went fucking bazonkers. She played, remember Tropic Thunder when they were like, you don't go full, right? She went full crazy. Oh yeah. And then you kind of see where Billy got it from. And real talk, had Cotton not showed up, Sydney would have died.
Absolutely.
Because she had Sydney's ass. Sydney was really not like handling her like she thought she was going to. She was fucking Sydney up.
Yeah, Sydney's ass was grass.
Yeah.
And that was such a twist that I wasn't expecting either. Cotton was this person that was painted out to just be this bad guy in the first movie, and we still wasn't so sure about him in the second movie, but we see he's actually. But why did he even show up? Like, that's the other question. Why are you even there? How did you know what was going on? How did you get there? Why? Wasn't he in jail?
No, remember they let him go because they didn't have him on anything.
Oh yeah, they did. They did.
Right?
So it was like,
so I'm just saying, like, what are you doing there? Like, did you follow her?
He could have skipped town. Like, why didn't he just leave town?
Yeah. So, and the fact that the only reason why Sydney is alive, because remember, Cotton was kind of like, maybe I should let this bitch die. Because remember, Debbie was talking that G, and she was like, look, I can get you any interview you want if you just let me kill her. Like, just let me have her and I will change your whole life. I can do it. I got the power.
He was thinking about it like,
yeah. He's like, I can get you whatever the fuck you want if you just let me have her. And if it wasn't for Sydney saying yes to that damn interview.
Damn. That was it.
And she didn't even want to say yes. Remember, she was clenching her teeth and she was like, consider it done. Like, she did not want to do the shit.
Absolutely. She won't do that shit.
Still, even in the face of death, she would have rather died than give Cotton this interview.
Yeah. That, I mean, like, she held firm on that of like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. But, and she finally said yes, and he shot her point blank in the head.
Yep. And then that's it.
And Gail is still alive.
Gail's still alive. She pops her ass up too.
And Joel shows up with the camera. He's like, let's do this.
He shows the hell back up.
She's about to start. and she sees Dewey and she said, "Fuck this," and threw that microphone and got in the back of that ambulance with her man.
Right. She was that's when Dewey got the draws. He got the draws after that. He had to get the draws after that because I mean, like, damn, this nigga not only tried to
GTD.
He deserved it. Like, he deserved it. First one, he almost got his ass sent to the upper room. The second one, he really almost got his ass sent up to the upper room. So
Yes, sir. GTD, baby.
He deserved to get the draws. He definitely deserved to get the draws. Like, for
And
sure.
they all come rushing Sydney, and Sydney's like, "Hey, it's not about me. There's your hero." And she points to Cotton, and she gives Cotton
All the
his
shine.
just due.
All the shine. Yep.
And she walks off.
Yep. And that's it.
Now, notable changes to the movie. Gosh, my eyes are running because I'm laughing so hard. So, in the original, we know now that it was supposed to have been Derek and Hallie were the killers that were helping Debbie Salt. Debbie Salt was always a plan as Billy's mom, but it was supposed to be Derek and Hallie, who were two people that fell in love on a stab chat room or some shit like that, and she found them, which is funny because that's kind of, you know, our recycled shit for Scream 5.
That was a direct. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Point in the script, there was a scene where and it was supposed to have been Mickey that was strung up, but it was supposed to have been in like the woods or something like that. Because Mickey gave his letters to Hallie, and then she's trying to get Mickey free in the scene that they didn't keep. And when she's trying to get Mickey free, Ghostface shows up, so she runs, and then another Ghostface shows up, and they both stab Mickey.
Damn.
That was something that they didn't keep after they changed everything. And then what else was supposed to happen? Randy was always supposed to have died. Yeah, and Derek and Hallie were the killers. Oh, and at the end of the first draft, Cotton does kill Debbie Salt, but then he turns on Sydney and he's like, "I'm not sure I still want to let you live," pretty much. And her and Cotton had a fight at the end, but you didn't know who won because they both kind of like stab each other or shoot each other, some shit like that.
Oh, okay.
So that was supposed to have been one of the ends. It was like it left on a cliffhanger that you didn't know who survived. And then when they got to the rewrite, which is the ending that we got this time, remember when like she walks off and you see the bell tower?
Yeah.
It was supposed to have been another ghost face in that bell tower looking at her, but the test audiences didn't like that, so they scrapped it and then put that like upbeat song at the end.
Okay.
So those are the notable changes.
Damn. I wish they would have did that first one though.
I know. Seeing two Ghostface on screen I hope they do that with the new one. I want to see two Ghostface at the same time. I do.
I need a good twist like that, where it's like it don't end on a good note, where it's like it ends on a fucked up note where you know this shit ain't over. This shit is.
But I think they kind of did that with part 5 with Sam when she's like, "Is it ever gonna be over?" And Sydney's like, "No, you'll just deal with it better."
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I mean, I love part 2. I'm a huge Debbie Salt fan. I think she is, and I don't think that she's great on paper, but I feel like Laurie Metcalf brought that. It's like Aunt Jackie on steroids.
She brought it. She brought her A game. She brought all of her A game.
She went full out, and I love it. And I love Mickey too, because Mickey's just fucking chaos for the sake of chaos.
Yeah, they are both one of those actors where that is an iconic role that you're not going to forget. You're gonna see them in something else, and you're gonna be like, that's like,
yeah. Anytime I see like Timothy Olyphant, I always think about Mickey.
Absolutely. He played, and I love when actors play a role so good to where we cannot get that character out of our head. Like that is, you will be Billy Loomis's mom and Aunt Jackie mixed. Like you will always, like she will always be that.
And then like, you know, here comes part 3, and this is where I get off the bus. But
Yeah, part 3.
like, you talk about the worst Ghostface.
Yeah, I don't even. Part 3 is so forgettable to me too. I'm not even
All I
gonna
keep
lie.
praying, I just keep praying with this new movie, and I keep telling Courtney this, especially with them bringing the old mask back. I keep with this whole shrine shit. I keep hoping that they retcon some of part 3 in this new one. If they can tie in part 3 and make it make sense, I swear to God, I will kiss them in the mouth, because part 3 is like the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah, it's the one we like to forget. I'm not gonna
And
lie.
we're gonna get into that next week, because when I tell you all the stories and the rewrites and the issues and what the story should, like all that shit, you're
Yeah.
gonna be so mad at the Scream 3 we should have got.
Yeah. I can't.
Because
really
I actually have
remember.
read, like, hopefully it's true, but part of like the leaked ideas of part 3 that I found online like months ago,
Yeah.
it would have been so much better.
Yeah, it should have been better. It could have been better, and it's unfortunate that it wasn't. It just wasn't it. Like it just wasn't it. I don't like it. Like I said, it's very forgettable. I didn't particularly like part 4, but it's
And
memorable
I love part
because
4.
yeah, like it's memorable though. Like I'm never gonna forget part 4 because of how they basically breathe life back into Scream. We had kind of forgot about it, you know. They had that show.
I'm always gonna love part 4 because Emma Roberts became one of my favorite actresses after part 4.
Oh yeah,
Right.
she's a dope actor.
You got Macaulay Culkin's brother. Like, how can you not love that?
Yep. He's definitely they both are definitely pretty good actresses, and I felt like it breathed a little bit of fresh air into Scream again, because I didn't watch the show. Did you watch that show that they had on MTV?
Of course, I watched the show, and I am a casual fan. Now, I will say this. When they did season 3, because you know I had to watch season 3 of the TV show because my boo was in it. Okay, RJ Cyler. You already know.
Oh yeah, that's boo. That's Bay.
You know I had to watch that.
That's Bay.
It wasn't very good, but I watched it anyway.
Right.
But season 1 was very good. 2 and 3 completely like a totally different direction. But I feel like the TV series suffered because they couldn't get copyright to the mask. If they would have got copyright to the mask, I think it would have did better.
Okay. Was the TV show, was it a direct? Did they do any call?
No, no. I mean, from what I remember, like a couple, but it was more standalone. You know what I mean? Okay. It's it's still the town, but it's just a bunch of shit going on.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean,
that's probably where they lost me at, because I need to see, if it's Scream. I need to see Sydney. I need to see Gail. I need to see all the original players. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to really see a whole new batch of characters that I got to learn these characters all over again.
Yeah. You know what? Scream, the TV series was, I don't know if you ever watched Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah, I did.
That's what the TV series was like.
Yeah, I just watched the first season. Pretty Little Liars start losing me. They started losing me towards season 2.
I only watched the first season too. But that's the TV show was just like, it was like Pretty Little Liars, like the same, like people dying, who done it, these people in high school, blah blah blah. So yeah, it had that same thing, and I loved that first season. So, but yeah, I mean, if they could have got the mask, I think it would have been better. But I say Scream 1, Scream 2, top tier, and then we get into Scream 3, and I'm telling you right now, next week's gonna be real frustrating for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real loud. I gotta try not to wake my baby up, but I'm telling you right now, like it's
gonna have you heated, upset. I'm gonna rewatch it again. I haven't watched it since. I probably like the replay value on Scream 3 is very low for me. I always watch it when I do the trilogy, right? Okay. So I always watch it, but I always was upset because I'm like, yeah, we finally got Jordan from Sister Sister in a movie besides Trippin', and like this is the movie. I don't remember him from what I remember. I don't remember him being very good or memorable enough to me. Like I don't remember. Like
he wasn't bad in it. He just wasn't given anything to do.
He wasn't. He wasn't. He was
just like Jenny McCarthy.
Yeah,
given nothing to do. Patrick Warburton. Get like Crunk. Crunk is in this movie.
Wow.
Given nothing to do. The
Yeah.
only good part of the movie, honestly, the only person in this movie that deserves any praise, and I just pray that they bring her back for some meta commentary, is Parker Posey, because she plays Gail Weathers in the movie.
Yeah.
She's the best part of the fucking movie because she's fucking outrageous. They need to bring her back. But she died. But I wish they could rewrite her in because she was like I promise you. I feel like part 1 is a serious horror movie. Part 2 is a commentary on how horror movies affect real life. And I feel like part 3 is like complete comical farce. I feel like because of everything they went through, they were like, let's just make fun of Hollywood in this one. Let's not take this one serious. Let's just make fun of the producers.
I remember they did focus. They did focus heavy on like Stab. What were they doing?
The satire.
The Stab.
Yeah,
they were
satire.
Stab 3 at that time.
They were on Stab 3. Yeah, Return to Woodsboro.
I remember Stab 3 being like the focus, and I like even like because that was in 2000. So I was like in middle school, so I could have appreciated it a little bit more, but I didn't. It missed the mark. It missed the mark.
Yeah, I feel like the satire is still there, but it's not a Scream movie to me.
No. Yeah. Was it directed? Was it also directed and written by Wes Craven?
Yeah, him. Okay, so we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, we'll get into that because we gotta get behind.
Like, I got the deets on all of that.
Yeah, because I need to know, like, was Wes, was he going through some things at that time?
Girl, when I tell you how bad it was,
yeah,
you're gonna be like, and when I tell you who was responsible for all of this,
yeah,
you're gonna really be like, you motherfuckers. Like, I promise you. Yes, you're gonna hit them with the wait and the exhale. You're gonna throw an orange at their ass in a leather vest. I promise you.
Oh man, well that is gonna wrap up episode 2 where we revisited Scream 2. It was a fun time, I gotta tell you. On the rewatch was fun. It was fun trying to guess who did it, who done it, the ending, the whole movie kept me on the ropes. This was the first movie that I would say surpassed the original. To me, it is more memorable to me than the original. But I mean, the original, Scream is in its own lane. It is up here, like it's up here. Scream 2 gets up there as well, so it's right next to it. So it definitely, they did their thing. They did their thing. Let me see. I want to just shoot out a little bit of facts because I am a nerd that likes to look at box office numbers and shit like that. So the budget for Scream 2 was only $24 million. It went on to make $172.4 million at the box office. So it was very lucrative. And I feel like that's where, Scream 3 came on. It's a cash grab at this point. Like, we did so well with the second one and the first one. Let's milk this cow. And
it's so disappointing because Scream 3 also has a great opening scene. It could have been good.
Yeah. They just dropped the ball. They dropped the ball, unfortunately. But we will definitely get into all of that next week.
Yes, and I'm bringing a notepad and a bunch of facts and tears. If y'all hear me cry, like, just don't, like, because y'all don't understand.
Yeah, it's
what
real.
We could have gotten.
Man, the movie we should have gotten we was robbed. We was robbed.
This is up there with like all of like the Freddy versus Jasons we should have gotten besides the one that we got. Like, this is right up there with that for me.
Fun fact, it's about to be 20 years. That anniversary of that movie is coming out.
Don't remind me how old I am.
Did we miss it? Or did it come out 02 or 03? I read
I want to say 03.
That's what I'm saying. I read something that said it's turning 20 years old this year. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's a fun. I'm gonna go rewatch that movie. That is a fun time.
Every time I like watch Freddy versus Jason, I get irrationally angry. Just the last time we've ever seen Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger in a movie, and that's what we left on. I love Kelly Rowland. I hate her in this movie.
Oh yeah, she was terrible in this movie. terrible. Okay, she was. Yeah, it wasn't a good look.
The whole movie was fucking just. It was the whole movie. The fake Jay and Silent Bob, the Kelly Rowland, the big breasted blonde girl. Like even John Ritter's son was terrible. Like it was just all terrible. And like when you think about Freddy vs. Jason, you go, so the guy who made Bride of Chucky made this, and it's like, yeah, the guy who made Bride of Chucky made this, makes sense because it's like a Bride of Chucky movie, but it's Freddy versus like.
Yep, I feel like that was a cash grab as well. That was a cash grab for both
I knew
franchises because it's like
Freddy vs. Jason. I knew Freddy vs. Jason was going to be bad when they didn't have Kane Hodder play Jason. I was like, this is not going to be good.
That's facts. That's facts because can't nobody play Jason like that man. Because that Jason was on a whole nother level. This nigga was running. Like, he was doing some extra shit. He was kind of fucking Freddy up. Like, I ain't gonna lie. He was beating Freddy's ass most of the movie. And I'm like, that's not the Jason that we know.
I promise you, if we ever get to that fucking episode, that's gonna be another episode where I like cry salty tears.
Yeah, we will absolutely. I don't know. We might have to do that because I know at some point we're gonna discuss Nightmare on Elm Street, and then
Friday 13th.
So maybe like after, I don't know, we meet in the middle of something.
I feel like what we need to do to get this shit out of our system is we need to do our top most disappointing horror movies.
Okay.
At some point after this, we get through our Scream franchises. I feel like there's a
lot of disappointment.
In the past 5 years.
There's a lot of disappointments over the last 20 years. Okay, from 2003 till now, it's a lot of disappointments. I can name a few disappointments like where they dropped up on.
Where I've been like, I never forget when me and Courtney went to go see that Child's Play remake, and I just was like, I want my motherfucking money back.
I wanted to square up with the director. I wanted to square up with the whole cast, line up the cast, the director, the writers.
And it made me so mad because we got Paperboy, and I'm like, this is what you do to Paperboy?
Like, come on.
I don't even follow Atlanta like that, and I at least know Paperboy, and I know he's better than this.
He was way better than this. Like,
and plus, I hate Aubrey Plaza.
Was he bored? I was like, Paperboy, I thought took a break from Atlanta to do this.
Like I said, I hate Aubrey Plaza. I think she's the worst Andy's mom. I think she's the worst actor ever. I hated her in Parks and Recreation. I don't get the appeal. She's right up there with Mindy Kaling for me.
Yeah. Ooh, Mindy
she's
Kaling.
So boring.
Yeah, Mindy Kaling is another one that's like, just how is Mindy Kaling still getting work? I don't know who's still looking for her.
The same way Amy Schumer's still getting work. That's how I look at them.
How is she still getting work too? Like I roll my eyes. Like
the same way Sarah Silverman's still getting work. I mean, there's a whole line of mediocre.
Yep. And I want to put Mindy Kaling in the mediocre white women, but she ain't really white, but you want to be white so damn bad. So it's like, ugh. Like
I firmly believe she was just playing herself on The Office.
Yeah, absolutely.
Firmly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why the fucking her people, the Indians, is on Mindy Kaling's neck right now.
Good. I'm glad they're stepping on her neck.
They hate her ass. They hate her ass because she hates herself.
She's the new Apu, and I love it.
Yep, absolutely.
But yes, right. Next week we will get into Scream 3, and
it is on and popping. So
if you don't like cursing, I suggest you miss next week's podcast because I will be going off.
Heavy. Viewer discretion advised. Okay. TVMAV. TVMAV may contain strong language.
All the strong language.
All of that shit. Okay,
you will see a black girl go off about fictional characters that don't exist.
Bruh, I love going off about fictional characters. Like fictional characters are real to me. Okay, they're real.
Oh yeah, I'm about to be punching the air like Ashtray. I promise you, I
Yeah.
am. Me hitting babies.
Because we don't play. We don't play about our movies. Okay, we don't play. Don't give us no bullshit. Don't take a shit on the script and then give it to us.
Look, I'm
shit.
knocking over tables. I'm smacking children. Like it's going down.
I'm writing a sternly worded letter.
Oh,
Somebody
I'm definitely writing a strongly worded letter, like a very
Absolutely.
angry white woman.
angry. Like you pissed me off. I want to speak to the manager of the studio. The
Yep.
whole studio.
Mhm.
Woo. All right. Well, I'm gonna end this recording right here. Stay on, Shanice. I think
All right.
but I'm gonna end this recording so that way we can get a good ending. Like boom. Period. Period. Pooh. Period. Pooh.